Wake up in the morning, I don't got no worries, cause it's a beautiful day. So many wonder how long we will be here. Tell them that we're here to stay. Hey yo, let's get it. Boss Talk straight from the city with true heart. We got champs in the making and champs that are root them all. Got that all sport, optimal prime, ready to dominate. The hottest conversations, uncensored, it's the time and place. Boss Talks, keep it uncensored, it's all hard. You could be for more walks, come tune in to Boss Talks. Got that all sport, optimal prime, ready to dominate. Hottest conversations, uncensored, it's the time and place. Boss Talk.
Wow. Here we go. Well, welcome back. Another episode. We're actually live today, Jeff.
Hey,
so there's no hiding that MJ, Michael Jordan. We know who it is. Listen,
Michael Jackson.
Listen, Michael Jordan just celebrated his 60th birthday.
Really?
Yes, February 17th. You know why I know that? Because I have a child named Jordan. And when Michael Jordan was turning 40, we were pregnant with my Jordan. Okay. And I wanted to name Jordan Mikkel. However, I was told I couldn't do that.
Okay.
But we went with Jordan anyway. So that's
Nice.
where Jordan got his name. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I see why you're very.
I'm an MJ. I'm MJ all the way. He's the GOAT. Can't help it.
You know, he came on air, right? And
Here we
he
go.
didn't come on air. He came on a video, but it sounds better when I say came on air.
Yeah.
And said, he just talked about LeBron being the GOAT.
No.
Listen,
I'm saying right.
I will send you the video. He came on air and
I
said,
need to see proof. I need
will-
receipts.
I will send it to you.
Okay.
I will send it to you. And
Listen.
something different this time.
If you're out there and we're live right now, I'm going to tell you right now. Everybody knows MJ's the best. The GOAT. The real GOAT. Okay, real quick. All right. So here, welcome back to another episode, Boss Talk Uncensored, where we sit down with aspiring new entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs that really want to share their story. They want to, Jeff and I, want to peel back the layers, uncover what it takes to be an entrepreneur in today's environment. And we're here today with a very good friend of mine, Chef Jacqueline Jones from Soul Food Collective. We'll let Chef Jacqueline Jones talk about herself in a minute. Are we gonna do the?
Yeah, I was just like,
let's do it.
That's our low budget sound effects right
yes,
now.
Yes. Anybody that wants to sponsor Boss Talk, let me know. Let us know.
Yeah.
Reach out to myself, Jeff, Josh from Brain Jerk Entertainment. Quick shout out to Brain Jerk. Josh Moore, our producer. Josh, you're always doing a bang up job keeping us on track. Let's see. Want to do our sponsors really quick?
Yeah, let's run them.
All right, go ahead, man. You start.
So Monroe Nutrition, we are Monroe, located 739 South Monroe Street, right between our diner and Monroe Florist. Triple D Liquidation, good stuff at a great price. What you got, Tino?
Well, of course, I'm wearing my State Farm, Tino and Amaya State Farm Insurance sweatshirt today, but State Farm Insurance, Tino Amaya State Farm Insurance. We've been protecting folks from the unexpected for over 100 years, especially right now during this time. People out of power, tree limbs hitting houses. State Farm is there. One of my good friends I want to shout out really quick, United Restoration. They're actually here doing some work downstairs. There was some stuff that was flooded. Matthew McLaughlin, United Restoration. I just want to give him a quick shout out because that guy shows up, man, 24/7, night and day. He's there. And then, of course, Amaya's Fresh Mexican Grill. We make it fresh daily. If we didn't, my mom would kill me. And then, of course, Amaya Group Inc., where we do restaurant renovations. We do menu engineering. We kind of help you a little bit. If you're a small business looking for some consultative things, we're there for you, man. We're there for you.
I love that.
All right. So what's up?
Where do I get one of those sweatshirts?
Bro, you know what? This is vintage right here.
I can see.
We're not even allowed to actually use this logo anymore because State Farm changed their logo. So this is considered a vintage classic. I promise you will have one.
Okay. All
This is a collective. Yeah, this is a collector's item right here.
It looks like one of them vintage Ohio State
Bro,
Like that's what it really
listen.
reminds me
Well,
of.
that's one of the reasons that I was attracted to State Farm to begin with. Ohio State, baby.
Mm.
Our colors,
Mm.
scarlet and gray, red and white. Well, State Farm's red and white, but I was able to do a scarlet and gray sweatshirt. Let's go.
Now that I
Bucks.
know there's a connection there, I'm switching to Farm Bureau.
Oh,
just kidding.
man, listen, this kid kills me every time. All right, so let's introduce our guest. So today, man, I am so excited. I think when you hear her story, there's just so many layers to pull back. I hope we get it all in within the hour. I'm going to look at my clock right now and see where we're at. But my good friend on the Food Network, she's going to talk about that. She has a growing business, and she's just incredible. Vegan chef, my great friend, Chef Jacqueline Jones.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, Chef Jacqueline Jones, tell us a little bit about yourself. Those people that don't know you, where you're from, where you grew up, and then we'll get into your business. What's up?
Okay, well, hello everyone. Thank you guys so much for having me. By the way, this
Thank you
is
for
very
coming.
this is really exciting. I didn't even know you had a podcast, and we're really good friends. It's like you told me this. I'm like, you really do it all, don't you? So this is very exciting. But yeah, I was actually born and raised right here in Monroe. I left when I was 19 and moved over to Japan. Did some work there.
Wait, what'd you do in Japan? What were you? What
I
work
was a
were you doing?
model there.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what's
I mean,
up.
come on.
I mean, yeah, I know, right? She's like, frame, please.
Yes, yes.
So I did that, and then I came back and I moved to Chicago, went to design school, moved to Paris, did some more design school, went back to Chicago,
So
went
you're
to
really into fashion?
really into fashion.
Could you help Tino out for me?
Yeah.
Okay,
First
thank
thing
you.
that has to go is
Thank you.
that,
Thank you.
that scarlet gray theme he
Right.
has going on. We need some maize and blue up in here.
Never.
So yeah, then I moved out to LA and became a celebrity wardrobe stylist.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my health started declining. And then that's when we get into the story. That's how I got back here. And
Back to Monroe. So how do you compare Monroe to Paris, Chicago,
Japan.
LA, Japan, right? I mean,
do you want an honest answer?
Yes.
no.
Uncensored.
We're uncensored, so fuck it, man. You can say whatever you want.
You know, honestly, it's hard after living all over
Yeah,
and all those big cities and everything to come back to a small town, but there is something about that small town.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
And you and I have actually had conversations about this because I live part-time in LA. You know my wife Jennifer and my son Brady very well. And I live part-time in LA. And actually you and I we had dinner out in LA a couple times there.
Yeah.
And it's there's something about coming back. Even though Monroe's not my quote unquote home, it's my adopted home. There's something
Mhm.
about coming home.
Yeah.
You know?
Very comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really was so surprised about was how open everyone was to my lifestyle, the plant-based lifestyle and the wellness and the retreats. And as soon as I came home, I kind of hit the ground running. And, Monroe News was writing about me and like very, very supportive in that sense. And just the community really came out and they were coming to my retreats and, people order from me. I'm in Perrysburg now. That's where my kitchen ended up being. And just the amount of people who order from me here and I come and deliver to them, I couldn't believe I thought I would land and like, what am I going to do? No one's going to eat vegan food. And then when I found Misty's, I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And her food's incredible. And so I go in there all the time and support her and talk to her. And I'm like, she's always like, how are you doing? How's business? I'm like, great. You? And she's like, same, we're killing it. I'm like, that's what I want to hear.
You know what? And so quick side note, tomorrow's Saturday, right?
Tomorrow Saturday. All day.
we have Misty on tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's awesome.
I'm excited too. So here, let me catch you up really quick. So Jeff and I started this podcast, I don't know, maybe around November, right?
So it was October because it was the weekend of the Leadership Development weekend. It was
that's
that
right. Because
weekend,
then I had to leave for LA. So we did a couple. Then I left for LA, and so October, and we and then Josh is editing things, and so we already had like 6-7 episodes like canned, ready to be produced and distributed. And then one day Jeff and I. So if you ever go to Monroe Nutrition, one thing we all love about Jeff's place is first off the energy. You got to go in there for the energy. He keeps just such a great energy there. But the second thing is, and I was joking with him today, I said, dude, this is like the barber shop, right? You go down there and at any given time, there's some leader from the community that's walking in the door, and the conversations that happen, they're just incredible. And so like even today, I was only going down there for my tea. I had to go inspect a few houses for my insurance business. And I kept looking at my watch. I'm like, shit, I got to go. I'm like, dude, we're going to see each other in like an hour. I got to go.
Yeah.
And there were some other people there and we're all talking and it's really cool. But we started talking and we're like, you know what? We don't have any female entrepreneurs on the show.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? All of our guests so far have been men, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? And we have a lot of female entrepreneurs. And so he knows several and I know several. I'm like, let's start inviting them and let's see if we can get the, not just because you're female or anything like that, but just get a different take
Right.
on what your journey's been like to start your business. Right. And so anyway, so let's catch you up. All right.
Yeah.
So what is your business? What do you do?
So I am the founder of Soul Food Collective. Started off as a retreat business in LA. So, with my health journey, which we'll get into that, the mind, body, belly connection is super important.
Yeah.
It's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And, we're so stressed out all the time and we're always in that grind mode, that hustle mentality. And it's like we neglect self-care so much. So I really wanted to, kind of shine a light on that and say, hey, it's all connected. Like, let's practice some breathing. So anytime you come to a retreat, the first thing you're going to do is breathing exercises, meditation, do some type of movement, whether it's, yoga or Pilates or whatever it is, stretching. Sometimes we just do something very restorative. And then, of course, I come in with the plant-based meal, the 3-course. I kind of do it a little more elevated, where I do a whole presentation and talk about the health benefits of everything you're eating, because that too is so important. Eating mindfully is whether you're eating poorly or you're eating well, you need to be mindful of what you're eating.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So just taking that time really and thinking about what you're eating and how it's healing you or harming you, depending on what you're eating. So I do that at the retreats. We have a very lovely meal and everyone just kind of sits together at a communal table. So from there, I ended up catering, being in wardrobe. I had all the connections in for productions and whatnot. And photographers started asking me to cater. So I started doing that. And then I landed here and started private chefing, which led into opening my kitchen.
Wow.
Now I have a to-go meal prep.
Okay. But before that, because you and I met when I found out you were going to be on a show.
Yes.
Okay. So let's back up a second. I want to know, first off, before we get to the show part, what made you decide to even go vegan? Because you weren't vegan your whole life.
No.
I know your family.
Yeah. No, definitely was not vegan. I actually had one vegan friend and I found her, it was just so annoying to hang out with her because I was like, let's go to Olive Garden. She's like, I can't eat anything. I'm like, just eat the salad. And she's like, there's eggs in the dressing. I'm like, oh, I can't hang out with you anymore. So I was like, I had a health issue. I just thought, my back hurt all the time because I was constantly on set. Brady's on set all the time and it's grueling, man.
So you found this out in LA?
I found this out in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. My back hurt all the time. I was going to doctors and they were like, oh, you have a herniated disc. And they were putting me on all these meds, all these drugs, painkillers and steroids and Motrin. And then my stomach was tore up because I was on so many drugs. And then my hormones were imbalanced. So, I've always been very thin. And out of nowhere, I gained like 40 plus pounds.
Wow.
And I started losing my hair, my eyebrows.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah. It got really
Was there
bad.
like a name for the condition or anything?
Yeah, I'm
or?
getting to that. So I just was told, just take these drugs. I was getting, all these injections and everything. And then final straw, I went to get out of bed one morning and I couldn't move. I was frozen stiff. And in between this time, my back would go out where I just couldn't get up and, people have had their back go out. You know how painful that is.
Yeah.
And this time it took 3 months to come back. So my back went out. I
Wow.
had to have constant care. If I had to have a cane to walk around my house. I had to have a wheelchair if I left my house. I, had to have friends take care of me. Like I couldn't bathe myself. I couldn't sit down on the toilet. Someone had to hold like a bucket, like a giant paint bucket
Wow.
underneath me. I was frozen in an L shape, and I couldn't sit. To get into bed at night was a 2-hour process where I just bawled my eyes out, would throw up sometimes because the pain was so severe. It got gnarly. So
at that time, because I know how like the medical professionals are today. Everyone gets a script.
Yeah.
So at that time, were they just like medicating you to hell, or
just medicating me? They had me on Percocet and Vicodin. They had me on Valium for muscle spasms. The fact that I was even functioning with the amount of Medicaid, the fact that I didn't come out an addict, to be honest with you, like I just was like, the second I went vegan, I just stopped everything and I never looked back. It was, I didn't have to wean off of anything. I just quit. But the amount of drugs they had me on was bananas. So
and I've heard this, and it's almost like you're confirming this, that there's not a medical drug out there that doesn't have a side effect.
Yep.
And you're confirming that 100% right now, because they had you on all these different so talk to us. So I mean, you don't know how bad you start feeling until you start feeling good, right?
Right, exactly. And I love that you said that, because so I went through all this, and then finally when I had to be taken to the emergency room, and it was an emergency room doctor. I walked into Cedars-Sinai, the busiest hospital, and there's the triage nurse there, and I am puke white and I'm sweating, and I looked at her and I go, I'm not sitting here for 2 hours. I go, get me a bed now. I don't even know how it happened. By the grace of God, nurses came with a bed, and they tried to get me in it, and I'm just screaming bloody murder, and everyone's like, what's going on with this chick? And they wheeled me back. I was on Dilaudid, which is what they give cancer patients. That's how severe my pain was. The doctor came in, they had me on a bunch of other stuff too, and he was like, how are you doing? Is your pain gone now? I was like, I'm at about a 7 now. He's like, you're basically getting what we would give like a horse to tranquilize it. Like, I can't believe you're functioning. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm still feeling some pain. He's like, this is not a herniated disc. He's like, you need to go to a rheumatologist. And I don't know for how many years I went through this, that no one recommended a rheumatologist, because they can do extensive blood work that doctors don't do.
Wow.
So I went to a rheumatologist, and that's when I found out I actually had ankylosing spondylitis. So essentially,
say that slower.
Ankylosing spondylitis, and they call it the bamboo spine. So essentially your spine fuses from your neck to your tailbone, and that's what was happening to me.
So like it was like basically coming together? Or?
Yeah, to be like a piece of bamboo.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I couldn't even imagine.
I know, man. I'm sitting here thinking, like, listen, this morning I woke up and I was like, God damn this knee. Fuck.
Dude, I want to cry when I get an ingrown toenail.
Right? Well, I mean, you are a LeBron fan. But anyway, go ahead.
So yeah. So the doctor, put me on a biologic, which is what they do, and you inject it.
Wait, what's a biologic?
A biologic, I'm sure you heard of, like, if you, Enbrel, Humira, and it's like to help lower inflammation.
Oh yeah.
And
I've seen the commercials.
Yeah. And then like the first side effect is, death. And you're just,
Jesus.
Oh yeah, listen to the side effect. The very first one, I think, is like death, and then followed by like diarrhea, and all
so you may die.
You may die. If
However,
right.
we're gonna inject you with this.
But you'll be pain free.
And by the way, you might die shitting yourself.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But here you go. Wow, that's
so bananas. She put me on that, and within 2 weeks, the injection site was like huge, red and swollen, and I lost my memory. My condition got worse. And I was an absolute mess. So I went back, like legit lost my memory. Like,
so
on the phone.
Who's helping take care of you at this time?
This is a rheumatologist at Cedars-Sinai.
No.
Oh,
I'm talking
friends.
Okay.
My really good friend who I was styling with, she became like my family, and we had worked together.
Because I was gonna say, because you're out there by yourself.
I'm out there by myself.
I mean, California, sometimes you're on an island.
Yeah. I had a neighbor, we shared a common wall in my apartment building. So she would come over and help. And my friend Martina would help me. Yeah.
Wow.
And my friend Serena, she came over and helped me. I mean, they had to grocery shop for me. They had to take my dog out.
Wow.
Like, could not be on my own.
Okay. So you're on all these meds.
Yeah.
When did you start to like go, okay, I need to look at food as medicine?
Right. So
because Farmer Diane, I know you guys have a connection because she thinks the same way. And shout out to Ream Farms out of Tiffin, Ohio. Yes, we were just there. We just went and met with them. We used them for several seasons up until the pandemic. Farmer John, his wife, Farmer Diane, and then of course now 5th generation, Farmer Phil Ream. Can't thank them enough for all they do for us and supplying us with some of the best all organic, pesticide free produce throughout the growing season. So anyway, so when did you start realizing food could be medicine?
So she told me my only alternative was low dose chemotherapy. And I said, I was 35 years old at the time.
Wait. Like chemo for cancer?
Yeah. Low dose chemo treatments.
Damn.
They can do low dose infusions. Yeah.
I did not know this. I'm learning a lot right now.
So wait, you were 30. How old are you right now?
I'm 42.
Wow. You even
Still
the
look it, yeah.
No, not at all. That I'm like 35. Are you 35 yet? Like, no, that's amazing because.
By the way, Jeff, you're single. She's single. We'll talk later.
But that's amazing.
No, we'll talk later.
Let's go.
So I'm excited to hear about how like this food, because they say like I followed like Dr. Sabi, stuff like that, and they say that we already had everything that we needed in nature. Yeah,
absolutely.
So keep going.
Yeah. So once she said that, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try a vegan diet. So prior to that doctor's visit, Martina, the woman that I was working with and who, was taking care of me, she was like, over in India, they use like turmeric and all these spices and all these herbs, for treatment, for medicine. I was like, really? Record scratch for me. Like, I don't know how I didn't know this. I had no idea. I didn't know that like drinking wine was causing inflammation. I didn't know that the meat I was eating and the dairy, I had no idea that this stuff caused inflammation. I didn't even know that inflammation was the root cause of all disease, which I now know now. So I was like, okay, well, vegan. I was like, oh God, I thought back to that one friend that I had that was so annoying. I'm like, I'm going to be that person. So it was the worst day of the year, right? Huge football fan, used to work at the NFL Network, by the way. And Super Bowl Sunday, I sat down. I was like, I don't know why I chose that day to go vegan. And I was like, all I want is a chicken wing and a beer. And I ended up ordering vegan pizza. And I took one bite of that shit. And I'm like, this cannot be my future. This sucks so hard. Like, this is so bad. So thank God I knew how to cook. So I just started practicing, I just started taking, and it was so funny. I'll never forget this. I never even liked Hamburger Helper. It was never a thing. And all of a sudden I'm like, I have to veganize Hamburger Helper. That stroganoff thing. And I was like, well, I've never even liked this. So I did it. And I used coconut milk for the cream. Okay. And I quickly realized, do not use coconut milk if you want something savory, because it tastes like coconut and it sucks.
Yeah.
So then I had to go back.
It kind of has like a little bit of a film. Yeah.
It just wasn't good. So for the first week, I ate lentils because I was like, okay, protein. First question, right? And I hate that question now. What protein? But
where do you get your protein from?
That was my first. I was like, I got to get my protein. So I went straight to lentils. And then Japanese sweet potatoes I heard were really good for you. So I started eating those. And then I slowly started figuring it out. And I was like, instead of making it complicated, then this is what I love to tell people. I was like, I couldn't go vegan. I wouldn't even know what to cook. I'm like, just make what you would normally make and take the meat out and substitute a vegan protein like lentils or something. I just take everything that I love to eat and I just veganize that. Now I create recipes, but people starting out, don't make it complicated. Just take what you like and just make it vegan.
Yeah. Well,
you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Well, and if you go back in time, and I'm a collector of cookbooks. And if you go back in time and you look at the way that we were eating in the early 1900s, for instance, right? Vegetables were really the center of the plate. And then, meat, think about it. There was a time when you ate meat like maybe once a month, like red meat once a month. The rest of the time it was like a lot of vegetables, chicken, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't a whole lot of, and also go back in time and you look at the farming practices right? They were completely radically
Yeah.
different than what they are today.
Yep.
Which is, if I'm not mistaken, why we're seeing so many gluten allergies, right?
I
Because
believe
of
so.
how it is
I believe so.
now.
Yeah, because of the way like a lot of the wheat and things are
Yeah.
processed now today versus before. But so as you started, having said that, as you started looking into, okay, I'm going to go vegan, I'm going to start cooking for myself. But how did you start putting like I guess like connecting the dots and saying, okay, this is going to cure this, this is going to cure this. And then how did you start like now feeling better and able to walk and back's not hurting? Because I mean, look at you now. You're not
Right.
hunched over.
Yeah, no, I have complete mobility. So I just started cooking things that I really liked. And then I just started doing my research. I just really went in and started reading all of the books. I went back to school, became certified. And I just, it was one of those moments where it's just like, I couldn't get enough of the knowledge. It was like rabbit hole after rabbit hole. I'm like, but this, and then this does this. Oh my God. And this does this. And it was just like so fascinating to me because it was all new to me. I had no idea. So I just started realizing like kale is one of the best things you can eat, especially purple kale. Anything with a purple skin, cabbage, red onions, blackberries, blueberries has an extra antioxidant called anthocyanin. And it is one of the best things you can do for inflammation,
Wow.
aside from turmeric. But turmeric, and this was a fun thing that I love to learn, was you have to pair turmeric with black pepper. Otherwise, it's not bioavailable. Pairing it with black pepper makes it 2,000 times more bioavailable, meaning your body recognizes it and can actually use it, gets in at a cellular level. And you have to pair it with a fat. So like avocado oil, if you're making it with a dressing, or that golden milk that you hear, it's like the coconut milk with the turmeric and the cinnamon or whatever, that's a fat. So it can now bypass the liver and actually go straight into your bloodstream and you can get full potency.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, this is bananas.
This is some game right here.
Right.
I like
So walk me through. So now you're starting to put some things together. You're cooking for yourself. You're starting to figure out that, man, when I eat these things, I feel better. You went back to school, you got certified. When did you actually, though, start realizing that, okay, not only am I feeling better, but I need to start getting my message out to everyone else?
Yeah. So years, I would say I probably started with the pain when I was about 25. So 10 years of being in pain. In about 30 days, I woke up and I got out of bed. And I was able to get out of bed. It didn't take me.
Listen, we don't have tissues here.
Okay, that's all right. I'll use my
So don't make
arm.
me cry.
Wait, Josh,
So
we
don't-
have tissues, Josh.
So
I'm
don't
just
make me
joking.
cry.
I know, right?
I'll just use Tino's sleep.
Right, yes.
But yeah, I was able to get out of bed and actually raise my arms above my head, and that was something it would take me 45 minutes to do. I would get in the shower and I would kind of have to go like this because I couldn't go like this. I couldn't do this. I couldn't even get
Wow.
out of bed. It was such a process.
And I know I talked to you at one time and you said there was a time when you were like hunched over.
Oh yeah.
And so now you're like,
Yeah.
oh my word.
Yeah. All of this was kind of just like this and, all collapsed in. And now I can actually open the chest up and put my shoulders back. And I couldn't even turn my neck from side to side. I mean,
Holy
I was
cow.
locked.
Such small blessings that we have every day that we just take so much advantage of that. Like we
For
don't
granted.
Yeah,
right?
for granted. That's the word I'm looking for. And it's like the little things to have gratitude for,
Absolutely.
to move your neck side to side. Like, wow.
I can't imagine it.
Me either.
And as active as you and I are, because I mean, you basketball, you do jujitsu from time to time with me. I still do jujitsu. I can't imagine not being able to just get out of bed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Put your hands over your head.
Right.
Man.
And back to your point, that was my normal. That was just my every single, being in pain was so normal for me that morning I woke up and got out of bed and was like, oh my God, I just got out of bed and it didn't take me a half an hour.
Yeah.
It was like, this is what it's like to be pain-free. It was like,
Wow.
I had entered a whole new dimension. I was like,
okay.
Oh my God.
So for those people that are going to be like right now, because they're going to be like, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Food is medicine. Like, so within 30 days, now you're off of all the
days.
meds.
Got off of everything. And then within 3 months, I balanced my own hormones. My hair came back. My eyebrows came back. I got back down to my 120 weight.
glowing. You guys see it. Like, let's go.
I know,
Let's
man.
go.
I know.
Yeah.
No, so all right. So I work with people all the time where, you know, people will say, well, that's expensive to do, and I'm like, no, it's expensive not to do, right? So we look at like even fast food industries, right? And I don't know who's gonna get mad when I say this, but I really don't care. Like that stuff isn't real meat. That stuff isn't real food. Like, and I've looked up the studies where even some of these fast food chains, they can have up to 10% human skin, human flesh in their processed stuff.
Wow.
And that's what we're consuming daily. So it's like, look, you're gonna pay and have that, right?
Yeah.
But like, why would you not invest in your health?
Yeah, but I mean, let's be real,
Invest
right?
in it
Think
now, or
about
you
it.
have to do it later.
Yeah,
Right.
but think about it. We, as a society, have become so conditioned to like it's quick, it's easy, it's fast. And I don't blame McDonald's. I don't blame when I was a kid, it was different. McDonald's was a treat. You know, we didn't grow up with a lot of money. And I remember my dad, you know, I'll be honest, a treat for us was and you know, again, we're gonna have Misty on Monroe's Original. When I was a kid, my dad worked at the Ford plant here in Monroe. And there were some Saturdays where he would come into work and he would summertime, he would stop at Monroe's Original, get a sack of dogs, you know, come home, pick us up, blah, blah, blah. That was a treat. Now it's a norm, right? For people to go to McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It's a treat to get home cooking.
Well, now it's reversed, right? Now it's a treat to actually get a good home cooked meal.
Yeah.
You know, which is crazy. So as you're starting to get your message out, now you're like, okay, wait a minute. This worked for me. I've got to tell everyone. How did that go over in the beginning?
Actually really well, because everyone who knew me knew the pain and suffering I had been in for so many years. So when I went back to wardrobe, because I had to not work for 3 months.
Wow.
And when I showed up on set, like my back would go out in the middle of a photo shoot and someone like a PA would literally have to take me to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, so people knew. And when I walked on set and I was just like, woo, and I had no issues, they were just like, what are you doing? I need it. When they just saw, like, I mean, you know, not to brag, but I mean, I had great skin, but I just had a different air about me, you know, my skin was glowing even more. My hair looked great. I looked great. Just my energy was good. And everyone's like, what are you doing? And I was like, dude, plant-based. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying it, but it changed my life. And then the brain fog that lifts and the mental clarity you have, I just can't explain it. When you cut out animals from your diet, and it sounds so cheesy, pun intended, it's like it's such a shift, because those animals are being tortured. There's no humane way to kill an animal. I hate when they say humanely raised. I don't fucking care. You're killing it. It doesn't, there's no humane way to kill an animal. So all of that energy and anxiety that animal experiences before you slaughter it is in the muscles and in that meat. And then we consume it.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we have so many people with, you know, so much anxiety and depression and all these kids. It's like, well, first of all, you're giving them hormones from dairy, and you're feeding them this meat with all of this shit in it from the animal when it died. And it's just, I mean, that's
a lot of the practices too. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff.
You're good.
But a lot of the practices too, when you look at some of the farming, and one of the reasons why, again, I'm going to pick on Rheum Farms. One of the reasons why, you know, we were using Rheum exclusively is just for that reason, right? Their practices are very organic, pesticide free. I remember, you know, one of the first times I met Phil, and I'm going to grab this bottle of water, and you know, Phil and I are talking, and I'm out at the farm, and he had his fertilizer, and he said, do me a favor, go to one of these big farms and ask them if they'll do this. This is the fertilizer we use. And he goes, ask them if they'll do that. And he put the thing down, and he goes, that's all natural. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, my dad being there at the farm with me, taking literally a green pepper right off the vine. And you've been there to do this, and you can just, and Phil's like, yeah, there's going to be some dirt on it, but you can eat it. Just go ahead and pick it. You can eat it. You know what I mean? You know, I think our farming practices today is leading to a lot of that, right?
Oh yeah. Everything is so genetically modified. When something is genetically modified, your body can't recognize it. It can't break it down. Again, the gluten thing. If you take heirloom wheat, like Roan Mills out in California, they do heirloom wheat. you don't get bloated. It's heirloom. It hasn't been genetically modified to the point where your body doesn't know what to do with it and can't break it down, you know? And just, or I'm really big on eating organically because everything is so heavily sprayed. And that's why we have so many cancers. It causes cancer. And we know this, we continue to eat this way. And it's just like, when people don't eat organically, it just kind of blows my mind because I'm like, you're going to pay for it at the end anyway. You really are. And then just all of the processed foods that we have and the dyes that are in everything, like the red dyes and the blue and the yellow. What is it? Vlasic pickles. They used to have yellow dye number 5 in it. And they actually changed that. Now they're using turmeric to color.
Wow.
I don't know why they shouldn't have to color it anyway, but I guess to keep with the same color theme.
Well, one of the reasons why there are some grocery stores out there that, you know, dye the meat to make it look fresh longer.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started on meat glue.
Right. Like, why is it that we can go and get a chicken breast this big nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
And all this stuff's pumped. And that's like pumped with hormones. And that's why like I have such a close connection with the company that I'm with, is because they go that extra mile. They're like, we're complete seed to feed. Anything that's in our products, boom, it's on the label. You know, they're a plant-based. They're like, and it's just like, when you really dive in and look at it, and like I said earlier, you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good.
Yeah.
And I think that really sums up, like, I guess you can't really sum up your journey, you know, because you've had a really crazy, awesome journey. But that's that for me, at least, like when I started really watching what I was eating. And I just posted a photo yesterday, or I didn't post, I sent it out to a couple of my buddies, but I had a problem where when I first opened the shop, it was like, dude, I'm hungry now, and I've been working like all day. And so I would get, you know, our diner right next door, and, you know, shout out to those guys. Great restaurant. I like it. Tastes good and stuff. But I wasn't picking the best choices. And so I had gained more weight. Like, here I am running this health food store. I'm gaining weight. But it's not like a healthy weight. So I really had to pay attention. Like, dude, I got to stop doing this. Like, I really have to practice what I'm preaching.
Yeah.
And I just did a comparison photo last night.
I think I saw that. Yeah, you posted that online.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, man, it's amazing. But real quick, I just want to touch on this, your retreats.
Yeah.
So do you still do these, or?
So I'm getting back into that. So
funny you should ask.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know where to pick up. So I ended up moving back here, and I now have.
I know. Hold on. Before you do that.
Okay.
Let's pick up here. So after you started figuring things out for yourself, you're sharing your story with everyone else. You ended up, because here's where we pick up our story.
Oh yeah.
I saw an article that in the Monroevia News, shout out to them, even though they don't like me, I'll say that out loud. They've never done anything on us, which is cool. Anyway, I'm not jealous. But I saw an article in the paper that you were going to be on the food truck race.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows me knows, man, I promote all things Monroe. And I was like, holy cow. 2 things that stuck out to me. One, a vegan chef doing on the great food truck race, which you don't really see them. And shame on the Food Network for not tapping more into vegetarian / veganism / whole, clean, cooking and living. But I saw that. And then 2, I'm like, wait, she's from Monroe. Like, I've got to reach out to her.
Yeah.
So I reached out to you, and I'm like, bro, next time you're in town, let's do a pop-up. And you're like, hey, I'm here now. Want to meet?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we meet up.
Yep.
But so you did the food truck. How did that come about to get on the Food Network?
That's a funny story. So I was living with my boyfriend at the time, and I was
good boyfriend or bad boyfriend?
Bad.
Oh, well, fuck him.
We know jiu-jitsu. We'll get him.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, it was good for a minute, but we were, getting ready to break up. It was just that time or whatever. And it was just one of those moments where I was trying to get out of styling because now I found this new, purpose in life. I'm like, I don't care about the shade of black sock anymore. like I'm trying to save people's lives and make them healthy. And I was like so over the fashion industry. And my mom, I feel like everything I've done in my life, it's a link my mom sent me. So my mom sends me this link. She's like, you should really like submit to be on the Great Food Truck Race. And I was like, whatever. So I was just sitting there watching Real Housewives on TV. Like, what am I doing with my life? And I was like, okay, fine. So I texted a couple friends. I'm like, send me a picture. We're going on the Great Food Truck Race. And they were like, haha, it's never going to happen. So my friend sent me a thing with a picture with a bio. I submitted it. Literally a year later, I forgot that it happened.
Wow.
And I am on a Nike job, practically in tears, hating my life. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I cannot go. I mean, I was in the middle of this breakup, about to be homeless because I had to like figure out where I was going to live. And I get a call. Hi, this is Christine from the Food Network. I threw that fucking sock down so fast. I ran out the door. I was like, peace. No, I'm kidding. I didn't quit. I finished out the job that day. I was like, hi.
Still need to get paid.
Yeah,
Right,
I definitely need that check. So I was like, hey, yeah, what's going on? And she was like, we want you to audition for the Great Food Truck Race. And I was like, absolutely. And I was just like, wait, that was like a year ago. She's like, no. So I just said, like, we did like this Zoom, audition thing. They filmed me. And then they asked me to be on the show. And I got some friends together, 2 friends, and we went on, and that it was the most stressful thing I have ever done.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I know. Cause so I watched the episodes and I'm like, this poor woman, I'm going to be honest with you. And my wife Jennifer can attest to this. I was like, God, I wish I would have known her sooner, because we would have won that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, you're liquid gold,
Yeah.
Jeff. You know what? I should have asked her to bring some of that liquid gold.
Oh.
That shit. I mean, it's not shit. Sorry about that. Uncensored. That stuff tastes. I've never had a vegan cheese sauce that you can like. Oh my God. You gave me some when you were doing the thing down in Toledo, and you're like, here, take this. It's extra. And I mean, I'm like licking the inside of the container, because I was like, God damn, this shit is so good, man.
Yeah.
It is so good.
That's awesome.
But that was one thing, even Tyler Florence comment. He was like, wait, this is vegan? Like what? This is like incredible.
Yeah. He was like, you got to find a way to bottle and sell this.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
This is how you're going to make your millions. So I'm still like,
Fingers
trying
crossed.
to figure out how to get that on the shelves. Yeah. But yeah, that journey was absolutely crazy, but it was, I would do it all over again.
I was gonna say, you needed it, right? And so we met with John Allen not too long ago. And one thing that stuck out from our conversation with John is him talking about going through adversity. And, and I think you guys connected on that point where it was like, sometimes you need that lesson to kind of catapult you forward, right?
100%.
So you do the food truck race. Obviously, you didn't win it, right? But and not because you didn't try. There was you had some adversity. You guys hit something at one point. Didn't you wreck the truck?
Yeah, the teammate, I think it was the very first episode. She pulled out and wrecked the truck. That was like a whole thing, and like she never got over that. So then she ended up quitting. I don't want to spoil this for everyone, but it's been years since I was on it, so you gotta watch this. But she ends up wrecking it, and then come to the next episode, and I swear to God, everyone was like, "This was fake, you guys. This did not happen." My best friend and the last standing teammate had kidney stones, so I had to go by myself. I was like, "I'm quitting." She's like, "Do not quit. Get back over there, and like you need to like finish out. You can do this." And I'm like, I couldn't do this with 2 people. How am I going to do this by myself? So I just went and I did. I finished it, and we unfortunately lost by $1.
Yeah. But you know what? One thing I will say is, if I'm not mistaken, some of the other teams were like, all right, okay, we're going to help you. What do you need, girl?
Yeah, I love
they
that.
They came and helped out. Oh, they were, it's so funny. We were all very close, and the Food Network tries to keep you separate. They don't want you like mingling with one another.
Yeah.
And we were just like, F you guys. Like we were so, I don't know how other seasons were, because I haven't talked to anyone from other seasons, but we were all very, very, very close and super supportive of one another. And like, even when we would go to the commissary at the end of the night, they would come when I was by myself. Everyone came over after spending 2 hours. You got to take brushes and clean top to bottom.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
We do it every night.
Hose it out. Yeah. And they would come over because I was by myself, and just after they got done doing theirs, or they would send one of their team members over to help me do mine. I mean, They were
Man.
amazing. It
Yeah.
was,
Awesome.
yeah. The one really big thing that I love that I take from that is the friendships that I made.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
And they're all
awesome.
doing stellar. They're all doing so many awesome things. Brunch babes. They're from Michigan, Northern Michigan.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember I can't remember, but they have a food truck, Rolling Indulgence. They're down in Dayton. They're banging it out back there. It's incredible. NOLA.
Oh, yeah,
Nola's setting
NOLA.
up
Oh, my
restaurants
gosh.
everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone's doing really well. So I just love watching everyone's journey.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so then you come home, you and I then hook up. Not like that. She's like, wait a minute.
Really uncensored.
Yeah, really uncensored. No. So I reached out and I'm like, hey, if you're ever home, I'd love to do a pop-up with you. And
So what define like pop-up? Like
yeah. So pop-up is when, you kind of like it's a one day, oftentimes a one-day event. Some places are doing like what they're calling ghost kitchens, and they invite a chef in to kind of create a menu, create an experience. And you literally it's a one-day menu. It's limited, and you come in and boom, there it is. And so I reached out to Jacqueline and I was like, hey, if you're ever around, let's meet. We met at Agua. Shout out to Tony and Cheryl, Agua Dulce. We met down there for coffee and instantly hit it off. I mean, it was almost like Step Brothers, one of those moments where you're like, did we just become best friends? Yeah. It was like one of those moments where you're like, did
That's
we
awesome.
just become best friends right now? Like,
Yeah.
I think we did. Like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
But I will say this. So we weren't expecting, when I say it was an experience,
The red carpet.
we truly were not expecting what we got, because Jacqueline's like, no, listen, I have a vision for how this should be. And I'm like, okay. So, I'm just a cook. And she's like, okay, that's cool. Here's what we're going to do.
Right.
And we did the red carpet.
I got a red carpet.
Yes.
We had the step and repeat, and we had a photographer. Shout out to Rather Be Photography.
Yes, Rather Be.
Yeah, she's awesome. Photographer. So she came and shot everyone. So everyone had their red carpet moment. Like we told everyone, what was it on the invite or something, like make sure you dress up.
Yeah.
Like, no jeans. So everyone got super dressed up and went on the step and repeat and got their photograph taken. It was awesome.
Where the heck was I? Like, when was
you and I
this?
didn't know each other then.
Okay.
This was 20.
We gotta do another one.
I know we do. No,
2019.
listen, this was 2019. And then, we were going to try and do another one in 20, but then COVID.
Yeah.
And then 21, it was kind of like a rebound semi-year for us. 22. So I really think this summer we should, or maybe even coming into fall, because I think we did it in the fall last time.
Summer.
Was it end of summer? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
July. It was July, I think. Or August. July or July.
I almost feel like it was like August. But either way, we definitely need to do one this year. We need to do one. And I know Riem would be more than happy. And I know they would come up again for that and celebrate. But anyway, so we did the pop-up. We had a great time. And then Jacqueline reached out to me because she said, I want to start my business. So this last half of the podcast, let's talk about the business.
Yes. Thank God I had you. Let me just tell you.
I don't know about that.
The amount of times. So Tino doesn't do well with criers. I don't know if you know this, but he is not good at when people cry. And I call him on my way down to my kitchen, nervous breakdown. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not cut out for this. And he's like, just lets me do it. And then he's like, are you done? Like, are you good? Are you okay? And I'm just like, yes, thank you for listening. But I didn't know, like, no one told me. Like, I knew it was going to be hard. And I kind of, in a sense, have always been an entrepreneur because I was a freelance wardrobe stylist. Like, I always had to find my own gigs, but nothing prepared me. Not even the Food Network prepared me for what I was getting into and opening this kitchen and doing this meal prep business and just setting up your point of sale. And like, I didn't know how to do anything. First of all, let's go back to me wanting to open up that big ass place in Detroit.
Yes, that
$500,000 loan.
Let's admit you were mad at me when I first told you were
like,
bananas.
You're not doing this. No, you need to start smaller. And I was like, what? I mean, I sat him down. I showed him.
No, so hold on. Actually, what you said was, you don't think I can do it? And I said, no, that's not it. Yes, you did when we were in the building because we were walking through and you're like, well, then I can do this. And I go, yeah, I don't think you should do this. Is too large a scale. I think you need to start smaller. And you were like, you don't think I can do it? And I said, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this is large scale.
I'm so glad you told me that.
Oh yeah, he hits me with stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
just had a conversation. I'm like, and I'm gonna do this and then this. And
Oh,
this,
that's right.
and this, and he's
Yes.
like, yeah. So you want to hear what I got to say?
Yeah.
Like, you done talking? And I'm like, yeah. What you think? He's like, yeah, no. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah. But it's one thing about if you ever get advice from Tino, it's always out of love, and it's always like just
Thank you.
it's really for your best.
Yeah.
Like he's not
absolutely.
just saying this because he doesn't want to see you do it. He's saying it because he's like, whoa, buckle down a little bit.
Right.
We got something a little better. Just let's build the foundation,
Right.
as you always talk
Foundation,
about.
Yes.
Yeah.
We always talk about the roots
Yeah.
and the foundation. Got to have roots before you can have branches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so you were going to do that big thing in Detroit, and you and I came up and looked at some space with you, and I
Mhm.
said, man, I don't know. So now how did we get to, and I know, but how did we get to the kitchen?
So I was a private chef for several families between Farmington Hills and Sylvania, Perrysburg. I don't know which one's further. I'm not good with geography. So anyway, a lot of people. And I just needed a commercial space. So I had my Pilates instructor was like, hey, come to this Toledo Grows event, like luncheon. So I went there and I'm sitting with a couple women and chatting. What do you do? And I was telling them, and I was like, but I need a commercial kitchen now. And she was like, hold on a second. Liz Fowler has her place in Perrysburg for rent. She's looking for someone. Literally text me her phone number. I go out in the parking lot. I call her. A week later, I'm signing the lease. It just
Yeah.
happened. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, okay, so this was meant to be. And I just hit the ground running. Like I don't know. I just started posting on social, and from day one, I was busy, and I just grew and grew and grew. I now have 2 employees,
Yeah.
which I called you.
Yes,
How do
yeah.
I be an employer? You're like, just cook with them. You're just right next to them. Just don't act like you're the boss. Just act like you're the boss, but don't act like you're the boss. I'm like, I don't understand.
Well, one thing I always tell people is, just because you're a lion doesn't mean you have to roar.
Right.
They
yeah.
know you're a
Mhm.
lion. They
Right.
know that you're in charge. You don't have to go in there and bang the drum and be like, I'm the boss.
Right.
Listen, and if you're out there and you're watching, you're listening to this, if you have a boss like that, get a new job.
Yeah.
You don't
Right,
need
yeah.
that fucking job. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because if you're working for someone that has to constantly tell you that they're in charge, I mean, shame on them, man.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Get a new gig. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
We just don't do
And
shit
that
that way.
almost people that can see the bigger picture, it's like if you're somebody that's doing that, really you need to go in and figure out what insecurities you have that's causing you to be like that, and you need to fix that, whatever childhood trauma that is or whatever it is, because your business will grow 300% more if you're nice to people.
100%.
Right.
Well, it takes me back to the conversation we had with John Allen. I don't want to pick on John, but John even saying, hey man, it's not a matter of if, but when you need someone to help you with something, right?
yeah.
And if you're treating your employees like shit
Mhm.
and you're not willing to actually like go toe to toe with them, shoulder to shoulder with them,
Yeah.
but you're expecting more of them than what you're expecting of yourself, because who sets the bar,
Right.
Mhm.
right? And so
Mhm.
anyway, so you start growing.
Yeah.
So what's it been like? Walk us through. What's it been like from concept to inception to now growing? What's that journey been like for you?
It's been incredible. I work 7 days a week, 16 plus hours a day. Every thought I have is always about the business. I catch myself, I preach, it's like practice what you preach.
Yeah.
I preach self-care. I preach all of these, modalities for, staying calm. And then I have to remember to take them. So I'm getting my face done. I'd go to my esthetician, and all I can sit and think about is how to help her grow her business, because she's at that point where she needs to take that step.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can I help her? What can I do? And then she could tell, I don't know if my eyes are going. She's like, you need to calm down. I know you're thinking about work right now. And I'm like, but no, honestly, it's just, I constantly just think of, okay, well, I accomplished this. What can I do next? What can I do next? So now I am working with people to bring back the retreats, to start doing the retreats again. I'm actually going to be doing pop-up dinners at the Federal Inn. You guys have to check this place out. You went with me yesterday.
I did, yes.
Katie, Federal Inn, amazing, amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. She's doing incredible things. You need to have her on. She's such a young entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
she's killing it, man. She's doing all the right things. And so, yeah, it's just, coming up with this idea in Los Angeles of just wanting to help people and starting out with retreats, to taking the journey that I did to having a kitchen. I never thought I was going to come back and be a private chef, to doing that, to landing this kitchen, to then pivoting to like, well, I guess I'm going to still do like meals for people without having a sit down. You can't sit down in my kitchen. It's
Right.
just a kitchen.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing meal prep, like meals to go, and then creating a new menu every week. And then how can I build on this? How can I expand on this? And now Neuroflex Juice, I love them. They're amazing. They actually started in my kitchen, and I put they were in there before me, and I have their juices on my menu because I believe in juicing every single day. I just can't juice for everyone.
Right.
I can't add that on to what I'm doing. So I partnered with them. Their juices are on my menu, and she and I want to put together a cleanse together. So it's just so many opportunities are coming, and just more growth and expansion. And do I work too much? Yes. But is it going to pay off, or is it paying off? 100%. And then when I have a breakdown, I just call you. I mean, I just call Tino. Walk me through this. How do I do this? Like, do I charge sales tax? What's going on? What does that even mean? Like,
Well, you know what? So here's the cool thing, though. Being on the side that I've been on, and I always say, like, I'm like 1,000 feet in the air, and I'm watching all this play out. And, it's been a blessing to be able to, and I don't know how much help I actually am or do or whatever, but it's been a blessing to be a resource. Right. But even so much that yesterday I had a business owner call me, a relative that started their business about a year ago. And, you and I are driving back, and we're on the phone, and I go, well, hold on a second. My friend has a business in Ohio. Let me ask her, blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it, we're on speakerphone, and you're like, oh, hey, so this is what I did, and this is what, and I've been through this. Oh yeah, I made that same mistake. Let me tell you, you know what I mean? And
full circle.
Yeah, that's the blessing, in my opinion. And Jeff and I have this conversation all the time because, Jeff and I have some incredible conversations, and really that's how this podcast came to be. Is I'm like, bro, I'm like the old lion. I'm on the other side of the hill, kind of on my downward side now. Dude, you're still climbing, and it's so great to get both perspectives of what it's like to be an entrepreneur with, 20 plus years experience. And then you get this fresh take. I don't understand the TikToks. I'm getting there. I have a few of them out there. I don't understand Insta all the time. I'm getting there. But then to have Jeff, talk about the marketing aspect, talk about, kind of what he's doing to scale his business and grow and that sort of thing. So let's pivot to that really quick. You made a mention that, social media. How are you using social media to market your business, and how has it helped you? And what advice would you give to somebody starting out?
Social media is so important. And I'm going to follow that with unfortunately, because I don't want to have to be on social media all the time. And I hate that we have to be so dependent on that. So 2 things. Newsletters. Your email list is everything, because you can do everything.
Are you talking about, real quick, like a funneling newsletter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a sales funnel practice?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, like
Jeff's taking notes over
I
here.
am.
So I do meal prep, but now I forgot your coffee. I just launched my coffee.
I was just going to say, come on.
And I have your coffee sitting on the counter.
Let's
I
go.
will go back home and get it and bring it to you. But so I'm launching my coffee line. So here I'm doing all of this meal prep, but now I have a tangible item that I can put online that I can start shipping. And that's when my connections in California and all the people I picked up along the way are going to come in handy, and having their emails, because you can be anywhere for this product.
Yeah.
Any of my digital products that I have online, your email list is, I would say, number 1, that is it for you. I'm getting into the habit of having a newsletter, always being in that inbox, staying relevant, and offering. it's not, you have to take yourself out. It's no one cares about you. It's
Right.
you have to relate it to them.
Yeah.
So focusing on them and how you can help them. And my latest wellness letter was just about like lemon water, and then all the different types of things you can add to it, and how it is so good for you. So things like that. And then social media to definitely, I don't advertise, I don't pay. I just, it's the amount of times that you post, unfortunately, and all of that stuff, but it's just, constantly posting food photos and talking about what the food is and how good it is for you. And, people need to see things 5, 6, 7 times before they'll actually take action on it.
Right.
So it's just constantly like putting it in the stories, doing posts about it. And what's really good and what's really smart is collaborations, because now you're reaching someone else's audience.
Yeah.
And
Jeff's really good about the collabs. I mean, I need to get better at it, but yeah.
Yeah, you collaborate.
I was about to say, you do a lot of
you know what though?
You're like Mr. Collaboration.
I collaborate on the low though. I don't really. I'm not like out, but I'm there. Yeah,
I mean,
present.
I just want to point a couple out for you real quick.
Go ahead.
Comedy shows, the music.
Yeah.
I mean, we're back and forth together. Branger. I mean, all these different.
8 Mile.
I think
Got a shout
8
out
Mile.
8 Mile.
I think you're Mr. Collaboration. Like, you got a lot of features on your songs.
Right.
Yeah.
But collaborations. What else?
Oh my gosh. Also, just I think, gratitude, man.
Yes.
Being super grateful. Like for me, I have a lot of customers who are very sick and have, either have cancer, going through treatment, in remission, some people who just love the food, which is awesome. And, they come to my door and I'm going to cry. We sit there and cry together.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going through this and your food is helping me tremendously. Like having that personal connection and that one-on-one with them, and like listening to them and providing a service that serves them. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. And you know what? So I am going to give a disclaimer. Jacqueline is not saying that anything that she provides is going to cure anybody or anything from anything.
Right.
This is her story. And her story was spinal something.
Ankylosing spondylitis.
There you go. Ankylopus, like what she said.
Yeah.
But her story was that, again, she used food as medicine. We're hearing, and we're reading more and more about this. I just got the book, and you'll have to tell me if it's even worth reading, The Blue Zone.
Oh, absolutely. 100% read it.
Okay. I just picked it up because I'd been hearing a lot about it, and I'm like, okay, I got to check this out. Because again, as a chef, a working chef, food has always been something that I'm not going to even say passionate about. It's something that's in my bones. I just love food.
Mhm.
And even yesterday, having a conversation with Katie, and she asking me, hey, are you vegan? And I'm like, no, I just love food.
Yeah.
And, I almost wish that we could take that moniker away, that it's not vegan. It's just food.
Just
Yeah.
food.
You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like, listen, I mean, this is what it was like for centuries, us eating carrots and potatoes and,
Yeah.
but wholesome stuff. Right. And then we added proteins in and things like that. But all of a sudden, like now we have to label it.
Yeah.
So if I make some jackfruit empanadas, why do I have to label it as vegan? Why can't it just be
Right.
jackfruit empanadas?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think even taking it a step further is like, I feel like humans label themselves too much too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah,
Let's go.
I'm vegan, or I'm this,
yes.
I'm that. And it's like, how about you just be human? And these are the things that you enjoy
Yes,
doing. and you
exactly.
like to
Yeah.
do.
This is
Like,
what I enjoy doing.
I love that. So real quick, can you walk us through like, I like to ask like certain deep questions just to like figure out the mindset of people and stuff. Like, is there a certain like maybe morning routine that you do? Is there certain things that you listen to because you have a very positive mind, and like you have to, right, when you're
Yeah.
doing stuff like this, and some of the challenges that you face being a business owner, you have to have a positive mind. So what's some of the things that you listen to, or maybe like a morning routine that you have that helps you prepare, like brings out the gratitude and all that?
Absolutely. So first thing I do in the morning is I wake up and I say 3 things that I'm grateful for to myself, sometimes out loud, sometimes my dog sleeping next to me. I wake up and I'm like, 3 things I'm grateful for today. And then I get out of bed, I drink some water. It's so important to drink water.
Mhm.
First thing you do when you wake up, I take my probiotics, also very crucial to do every single day. And then I, go downstairs, get the dog food, whatever, start thinking about work, all that good stuff. And then one thing I do on my way to work all the time, I'll check in on the news, kind of see what's happening. That depresses me a little bit. So then I listen to Gabby Bernstein. I'm part of her Miracle membership, and she has weekly coaching practices. So every week it's something different. And I just put her on and I listen to that. And it's, essentially all the same message, but you feel good when you're done listening to it.
Yeah,
And if it's not her, sometimes I put on Tony Robbins. Is that his name?
Yeah, Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I'll put he's just so anything that's like uplifting and keeps you going and keeps you motivated and in anything positive, because it could be a downer owning your own business. There's a lot of stuff like you yesterday, and it's like you either, you got to spend energy either way. You're going to spend it focusing on good things or focusing on bad things. And, sometimes I catch myself in a rut and then I immediately am like, I got to put something on.
Yeah.
When I'm working on my laptop at home, I have like meditation music going on, like spa, like crystal bowls, something, because it's the vibrations, it's the beats, it's the hertz. And different hertz have a reaction in the brain to cause different moods.
Yep.
So it's doing all of that. I recommend that to a lot of my clients, like all of these different beats, all these hertz you can listen to, the frequencies. And that stuff is so powerful. Your mind and your gut are connected by the vagus nerve. So whatever you think you're going to feel, and you're going to affect that gut health, and you're going to affect every cell in your body. Your cells hear every thought that you have.
Right.
So you feed it well. Think good thoughts. Have positive, your vibration, like raising your vibration. I had a whole retreat, raise your vibration to lower inflammation, and just your vibes. Like attracts like,
Right,
it's
right,
that
right.
whole thing. So it's just trying to keep it positive. That's why I like hanging out with you, honestly, because he always thinks he's like this, whatever. It's just you are really positive, and you're funny, and you're just your energy, you have really good energy about you. And it's like, keep that circle of friends with you that just have that good energy. And anyone that sucks, get rid of them, because you don't need that in your life. Like, you're going up here. Anyone who's not there with you, you don't need.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm at the point right now where on like Facebook, like you'll get certain people who will just always comment on things. And I'm like, honestly, I don't even know if I really like this person. I should just get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Why have I had them on here for 6 years?
So, and I don't post it. I hate that when people are like, if you made the cut, if you're reading this, you made the, I'm like, bro, just cut people. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, or my other favorite that I absolutely despise is when people are like, taking a break from social, deuces, see you in a month. It's like, just take the fucking, I haven't even seen any of your shit in like 6 months anyway. Just take the fucking break. Jesus Christ. But no, I appreciate you guys saying that. And I really do. It's not what I strive for. I just try to be as authentic as possible. And I think, that's one of the reasons why Jeff and I hit it off so well, because and you and I hit it off so well because we're all authentic people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We speak our minds. I'm not always going to be the most polite guy because I'm very blunt. But know that I say it in love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Know that I'm, if I do offend, I'm sorry. I'll apologize. But it's always everything that I say, especially when I'm dealing with like, young entrepreneur like Jeff, for instance. We just had a great conversation the other night where I'm like, I'll always have your back. I'll always, understand that whatever I'm saying out of love. And if I'm out of turn, just say, man, I don't agree, or, shut the fuck up, or, just, man, I didn't appreciate when you said this, and trust me, I'll come back and be like, bro, I'm so sorry, and move on. But I think authenticity, especially as a business owner, it's one of the things that's led to my success. And I think it's leading to your success, being able to tell people. You and I just had a conversation about a customer that you had to say, hey, man, it is what it is. Maybe I'm not the one for you. Maybe John Carabino, I'm thinking about him and John saying, listen, there are times when you have to tell people, I
Right.
might not be your guy. I
Yeah.
might not be your gal.
Yeah.
This business might not be for you, or what I
Yeah.
do might not be for you.
And I
Right.
think drawing boundaries, especially in business, is extremely healthy. And so many
Yes.
people don't.
Yeah.
And then they just bitch and complain about it and they're miserable. It's like, well, you need to draw the boundary.
Yeah.
And I think boundaries are very important.
Well, I really love what you were saying too, is like, listen to the positive stuff, listen to the things, because the outside is a physical manifestation of what's going on inside the brain. And so if I'm in my head and I'm like getting upset about what this person says and this person says, and I'm not drawing boundaries, like it's going to reflect like my body language, everything. And like as business owners, like people are watching your every move. They really are.
100%.
And so, like you said, like really pay attention what you're taking inside your body, food wise, what you're listening to, because that's who you're going to become on the outside.
Right.
And I think that is so well put. And I think so many people pass by that
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they wonder why certain things don't work out for them. And
Or they
I'm
wonder
like,
why their businesses are struggling. They wonder why
Exactly.
they are struggling personally. They wonder
Yes.
why. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're close to wrapping up. I'm looking at my clock here. We got about maybe like 5 more minutes. So business is good. Business is growing.
Yep.
You're starting to do some more things. First off, why don't we tell everyone, give us all your social platforms, give us your website, tell everybody where they can find you if they're looking
Yes.
for you.
Soulfoodcollective.com, and it's SOL like the sun. So I got the name, interesting enough. You're right in your stomach, right above the belly button is your solar plexus. The
Yeah.
color is yellow, the chakra is yellow, and that's where you metabolize life and food.
Huh.
So that's where I got Soul Food Collective. So
I like that.
soulfoodcollective.com, and then on social I'm at Soul Food on Instagram and Soul Food Collective on Facebook.
Dude, that's
I
awesome.
love that.
Okay, so now a piece of advice. I love this part of closing out the podcast. Piece of advice that you would give to any aspiring entrepreneur that wants to get started, maybe not doing what you're doing, but they want to start their own thing. They want to get going. One piece of advice that you would give them.
It's going to be a very long road with a lot of sacrifices, but there's nothing like being your own boss and owning something.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
It's all worth it, even though it doesn't feel like it. It will all be worth it. And it takes dedication and a good friend with great advice,
Mhm.
but just stick with it. And just like you said, just be authentic, be yourself, and come from a place of service. You will not be successful if you come from a greedy place and you're in
Yes.
it for the money.
Mm.
You'll never
Wow.
get there.
Yep.
You got to come from a place of service. How can you serve and everything will come your way?
I love
Wow.
that.
I love that too, man. That just gave me chills.
Right.
Jeff, what do you
That's
got?
perfect. No, I just really want to say thank you. Thank you for coming. And it's like you lived like 6 lives in one. So like,
right? Yeah.
thank you for coming in. And anybody who, if they get the chance to talk to you, like really pick her brain, because just some of the stuff that she didn't even go into,
Right.
but I could just tell by certain things that she was saying, she knows and she's aware. She is what this generation would say is woke. Okay. She is
Yeah.
very woke.
Yeah.
Okay. So pick her brain if you ever get the chance to talk to her.
Well,
So-
guys, yeah, listen, man, before we close out, I want to say thank you so much for the friendship. Thank you so much for even listening to me when I ramble on for like 20 minutes. And then I go, did I answer your question? And you're like, you did. And I almost feel like you want to say 5 minutes ago. But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being here. I mean, this is another one where it's like, we need a part 2.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We need a
Yes.
part 2 because like we're like scratching the surface of the
Part 2
business.
needs to be like on a retreat though with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, let's
Dude,
go.
We need to do it on the retreat.
We need to go on site.
do some of the
Yes,
meditation, do
that's
some
what
of
I'm
the,
talking
get
about.
some of the
Yes.
foods. Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
I love it. I'm with you. All right, we need a bigger budget. Where's Josh at? We need a
Right.
bigger budget. Just kidding. Okay. Well, listen, guys, I want to thank you once again for tuning in. Boss Talk Uncensored, man. We're out.
We're out of here.
Let's
Peace.
go.
Bye.
Place Boss Talks, keep it uncensored, it's all hard. You could be for more walks, come tune in the Boss Talks. Got that all sport, optimal prime.